Hi, I'm Sally Baker with Genesis Gardens Homestead. Along with my husband, we started a farm stand out there, and we also do the Tucumcari Farmers Market. And today I'm going to show you how to make black-eyed pea and kale ragu. First of all, you have your ingredients. We have black-eyed peas over here on the stove. I have substituted spinach because kale and chard, which chard is my favorite, but this was available to me. Onions, ham, garlic, a little olive oil, and I use some crushed red pepper instead of jalapeno, which it calls for. I do make some substitutions. It's really easy to work with. You can substitute the greens, you can substitute bacon, smoked sausage for the ham. It's just whatever you've got, and it puts together a great meal. It's great served with just cornbread for a meal, or you can use it as a side dish, whichever you prefer. But we have, like I said, I'm cutting the recipe in half today. So we start with our black-eyed peas. You can use the dried, and you can use frozen. You can use fresh, which is wonderful, which we do grow, by the way. And you can also use the canned, which I used today to save some time. But it calls for 1 pound of dried black-eyed peas, which would equal 6 cups when it's cooked. So I've got 2 cans, which equal about 3.5. So it's about half. And then we're going to take this pan here. We've got it warming. We're going to put just a little bit of olive oil in here. If you're doing bacon, you don't need to do any olive oil. Turn this up a little bit. Put that in the bottom. And then we're going to saute our ham. And that's going to take a little bit of time. And I want to talk to you a minute about washing your vegetables. That is so important. It doesn't matter whether they came in a sack, whether you buy them at the farmer's market, or whether you are lucky enough to harvest them from your own garden. They need to be properly washed. Spinach is one that you need to submerge in water and then lift out so that any sand or dirt can stay at the bottom of the sink. You can't just wash it under, with it in a colander or something. It needs to be submerged. And you need to do that several times to get the sand and the dirt out of it. Particularly the spinach, chard. A lot of people don't know what chard is, but chard is a great vegetable. Chard is a relative of the beet, and it's great in this. You would have to remove the stem and then tear the leaves in chunks. The kale, if you use the regular curly kale, they usually take it pretty small. So you can just put that in there whole. But it just depends on what green you're going to go with. You can even use lamb's quarter. A lot of people don't know what that is either. It grows wild. We do keep batches of it out there at the farm. And that's free wild food. It's very good. Okay, this is starting to heat up a little. We need to brown it up just a little bit. And while we're doing this, I want to mention to you these other greens that I talked about. I told you that Swiss chard is a member of the beet family. The beet grows the root. Swiss chard grows the stem. So, but it's still, they call it the above ground beet. And then the lamb's quarter and spinach are of the amaranth family. But it grows wild, and we know it as pigweed. And then collards, you can use collards in this, and it's of the mustard family. And by the way, you'd want to wash collards similar to the spinach by submersion. But the kale and collards are from the brassicas. So you've got 3 different families. You can probably some others that I don't even know about. This is getting browned up. Then we can just add our onion. Let that just get just a little bit translucent. if you can substitute bacon or sausage, I said, for the the little smoked sausage cut in little rounds for the ham. And a lot of people use lard or bacon drippings when they use bacon substitute. They use that to brown the onions up, and a lot of people, of course, they say no, bacon drippings are bad, lard's bad. But there are certain diets, for instance, autoimmune diet. They can use bacon drippings. They use lard. They use butter. They can't have any soy. So they can't use shortening. They can't use, they use olive oil also. I try to stay away from just the all vegetable shortening and all vegetable oil as much as possible. To get just a little more translucent on the onion. One thing that's so nice about this is that it doesn't matter if it's in season. You can use your chopped frozen onions that you bought at farmer's market. You can use your frozen black-eyed peas or your canned black-eyed peas that you bought fresh at farmer's market. Or you can use fresh black-eyed peas, and they are so good with the snaps. And we do raise the kale and the Swiss chard both. But Swiss chard's my favorite. And we only use, like I said, pretty much half of everything. I should have had 3/4 of a pound, which would have been 12 ounces, but the bag was only 10 ounces, so I didn't buy another bag just for 2 more ounces. But it'll work. Garlic, if you don't have fresh garlic, don't want to buy fresh garlic, you can always use garlic powder. But that garlic's kind of important, or just to me. Gives it just the right flavor. Okay, those are looking pretty good. Give it one more minute. When we first moved over here and went to farmer's market, we were Okies, so we knew what black-eyed peas were. But when we first moved over here, we went to the farmer's market, and most of our customers were Hispanic and the local, just the local jive that, you pretty much have a local food liking, I guess. But we took black-eyed peas, and they looked at us like we were crazy. And, of course, they were in the shell, fresh picked in the shell. They asked us, why are you trying to sell mesquite beans? And we just looked at them like, because we didn't have any handle on mesquite beans. So it's all a learning process. But I did later figure out why they didn't know black-eyed peas. They're selling the very same black-eyed pea in the grocery, well, not so much at the grocery stores, but at the Dollar General. I noticed the black-eyed pea is in a bag that says black-eyed beans. So they like beans. But anyway, it's one and the same. It's a kind of distinctive flavor. I prefer the fresh because they seem juicier than the dried. A pinto bean, well, the pinto beans are actually the same. You can get fresh pinto beans that are, still on the plant. And a lot of people like them that way. That's the old-timey green bean, as a matter of fact. That's what a lot of people had for green beans, was the plain old pinto. And then what got away from them, I'm adding just a little bit more oil there. Getting a little bit dry. But a lot of people brew just the pintos, and then when, after they get their fill of what they wanted for the green bean, they just let them grow, and then they harvest them and go ahead and let them dry. Then they have dried beans. Okay, I think that's good. We'll add the sliced garlic. And just let that go just a minute. Get the aroma out. Smelling good. I think that's good. Now we are going to put this ton of spinach in here. And this is still wet. You don't salad spin it. Don't let it drain forever. Put it in still wet so you have some moisture. So you can imagine if I was making a full batch, how big this pot would be. It's starting to wilt. You just keep pressing it down until it's wilted. This is really a fun dish to make. I made this one time when we had our farmers market meeting to open the year, and everybody goes, "We don't know what that is, but we're going to try it," and they loved it. So it might surprise you, even if you don't like black-eyed peas or think you don't like black-eyed peas. Okay, it's starting to wilt down. I don't know where all that went, but it's in there. I'm going to put the lid on it for just a couple minutes and let that continue. This is really a good dish all on its own with like cornbread or garlic toast. And you can, if you don't like it to be too juicy, you can drain some of the juice off the peas before you add them in. It just depends on how you like it, whether you're going to eat it kind of like as a soup, I guess I would call it, or if you want it a little bit drier, you know, for a main dish to go with something else. I don't know exactly what you put with it. I just know cornbread and garlic toast is great with it. You might even could trick your kids into eating it for a side with a sandwich. I don't know. Although most of the kids do like it. Okay, that's getting almost wilted enough. Spinach, if you're using spinach, it does not take as long as the kale or the chard. The kale takes the longest. It's about 10 minutes. And this looks like it's plenty done. So we're going to turn this down again. And we're going to go over here and get our black-eyed peas. They're already hot. And we're just going to start spinning this in. I don't know if I want this much juice, but we'll spoon it in and see what we got. It's looking good. I think that's about all the juice that I want in there. Now we'll just let this heat back up. And that's about as simple as you can get for a whole meal. If you're using your dried black-eyed peas, you'll want to start them prior to. They take, I don't know, probably about 45 minutes to cook. Of course, you'll have to sort them and rinse them and then get them started. But while you're doing that, you can chop up your bacon or your sausage and your onions, and then I'm going to finish off with a sprinkle of crushed pepper. I'm not putting in that much. This is not coming out very good. Okay, that's probably enough. You could always add more if you like one. Okay, and it says to bring it back to a boil and boil for several minutes, but I don't think we've got everything cooked. The ham's already done. Perhaps if you were doing something, the sausages or something, of course the sausages would probably be cooked because they're going to be cut in small pieces. But I'll let it come just to a boil, but I think that will be good because I know everything's cooked good. And we don't want to overcook the spinach. We want to make sure we know it's there. So I think that's about it. And we'll give us a bowl full of it here in just a minute. We hope you guys like this recipe, and we hope you'll come out to the farmer's market or out to our farm stand and try some chard, try some kale, buy onions. We're going to have green onions in about 7 or 8 weeks. And we have garlic. And fresh is always best. And local is best, where it's not brought in from who knows where and traveled many miles. And it's always better to buy local if you can. And we're also, we always welcome anyone that wants to see how we grow. We don't use herbicides, pesticides, fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, none of that stuff. But we welcome our customers to come out anytime and see where their food's grown. We have a lot of fun with that. Okay, I think we're just going to go ahead and put some in a bowl. It's perfectly edible. It may not be blistering hot, but it will work. Okay, there you go. Black-eyed pea and spinach ragu. We hope y'all enjoyed this recipe. Black-eyed pea and kale ragu, only we substituted the spinach. So we have black-eyed pea and spinach ragu. We hope you'll come out to the farmer's market for produce, fresh produce, lots of fun. Meet your friends out there and give us a try. And we'll have more recipes. We always have recipes on our table. So let's give this a try and see if it was successful. Get a little spinach, a little onion, garlic, and some peas. In my opinion, it was. Thank you.